Enforcing server state is critical to stability and security for Windows and Linux sysadmins and cloud engineers. Yet trying to ensure that your servers meet your standards is a constant, persistent challenge. I'm Rick Habley, and in this edition of OpsTalk, Luke Walker and I are going to show you how you can standardize and continuously sweep and remediate your system configurations, installed software, and operating system and application patches across thousands of EC2 instances in just a few clicks. Luke, welcome to OpsTalk. I have a burning question for you. I really thought this was solved with configuration management tools, wasn't it?
Thanks for having me here, Rick. So, dealing with non-standard servers is still a significant problem, both in and outside of cloud, for any team. In a perfect world, your images would be built with a well-baked configuration, virtual machines will update themselves, and your ops team has perfect control over what and how the environment is built. Sadly, that's still far from the truth for customers. We have one such customer that specializes in the field service management space, and they discovered that enforcing desired state configurations created bottlenecks with the cloud ops teams. So across hundreds of systems, there was this hard choice between getting buried in their ticketing system because they couldn't approve changes to the server images fast enough, or they couldn't guarantee the build process because the server images are coming from everywhere when they handed back control of the server build back to the originating teams.
Effectively, if I'm a sysadmin or a cloud engineer, I'm being handed a system built by somebody else and then expected to figure out how to enforce company standards after the fact? How do you even find the time on top of all that to report your compliance status to management?
Well, it becomes nearly impossible to consistently report that status. Just trying to enforce standards is a painful exercise because now you have to bake agents in, you have to build additional infrastructure, create central repositories, gain network access to every system. More and more work is required on top of that. So even in scenarios where security ops teams have existing chef recipes for you to consume or your requirements may be straightforward, ultimately the work still doesn't go away. But ops teams shouldn't have to make trade-offs between delivering image changes, solving build process challenges, or providing consistent reporting.
So how are you tackling this differently with day two?
Let me bring up my environment and show you how I can do this in, say, 30 seconds, and all without that build and maintenance process.
Please.
Now, our corporate standard has two parts. This is a Windows server, so let's say our corporate standard is that PowerShell 5 is and always will be available, and that my local admin passwords must be scrambled and set back to Active Directory. First, let's define that file check to see that PowerShell 5 exists. And we'll include a remediation step, so if PowerShell 5 isn't installed, we'll take care of it automatically because it's a low impact fix. Next, we'll create a second rule for Lapse. Lapse is this handy Microsoft solution for scrambling local admin accounts, populating the details back into Active Directory. The team's already created a deployment script, so I'm just going to drop the script right in here and we'll skip remediation just for this example. Now, a quick scan of our settings and everything looks good. So let's now finish creating this policy and we'll schedule it to run against our server fleet.
That's it?
That's it. We're checking our servers to meet the corporate build standard across the entire server fleet in 3 different Amazon accounts in this particular environment. 3 steps, and effectively now the entire server fleet is under the governance umbrella.
That was fast, real fast. But can we dive a little bit deeper into what these rules let you do? I ask because usually agentless solutions give you a simple choice and not much flexibility in what you can check for, or remediation is manual. Yet here, I can see that we did include remediation steps for PowerShell.
Yes, so the desired server state feature supports single or multiple rules, as you just saw in the corporate standard we enforced. Now, these rule types can vary. You can implement a compliance check with something as simple as, say, checking for the existence of a file. But you can also execute chef recipes, Ansible scripts, PowerShell scripts, Bash shell commands at scale. And there's no need to upload that script ahead of time or have your virtual machines punch a hole through the firewall to access a central repository. The important thing here is by not having to punch that hole through, becomes very easy to just hand us the work that needs to be done, and we'll make sure it's scheduled and gets taken care of. Now, there's also the remediation. We accept both a PowerShell script or a Linux shell script as a parameter and give us the path to the file, or give us the guts of the script itself. And we'll ensure that this gets only executed on individual servers that fail the rule check. Now, these remediation scripts, we get these executed on your systems by leveraging Amazon Systems Manager agent. Now, this agent is automatically bundled in most AMIs, generally Server 2008 and up, Ubuntu 16, 1804, Amazon Linux 1 and 2. So if you're building your own AMIs based on these AMIs or their Rs, you don't need to roll that agent out across your server fleet.
Once this is created, do you only need to schedule when and for which systems this policy applies?
Correct. So whether it's once a day or you're doing multiple checks a day, say at the start and the end of your operation windows or at the start and the end of your business hours, I mean, this choice is always up to you as the operator.
Let's say the compliance check fails and then the remediation check fails also. How do I get a view across not just my server fleet, or just my application, so I can assess what my priorities are or what application owners I need to engage?
So we have two easy reports for that, and let me show them to you now. This first report lets you select only the applications you want to inspect. In this case, we're looking at the mission-critical ERP application. And so we can generate that more targeted report that enables you to make a business context decision. We also have a report that shows the compliance status across the entire server fleet. Now, this is all departments, all accounts, all regions. This takes into account both the desired server state and also patch management. So if you're using Day 2 to scan and patch your instances, it can give you that blended view. But you can also filter just to specifically look at desired server state, separating out patches from your report, or it can be the inverse. Either way, by having all this information in one place, you're not having to fight your basic tool suite or go grab your existing tools to extract this info out just to report up to your CISO or your compliance auditor on what the actual compliance status is for thousands of virtual machines, or if you're just trying to report on that one individual application.
Yes, especially as doing the compliance checks is part of the struggle. Summarizing and reporting back to a CISO or your manager is just as taxing on an engineer's time. Thank you, Luke, for taking us through this in greater detail. Is this something that is available today?
Yes, so we've released this functionality as part of the well-managed server suite, and you can go to MontyCloud.com and try this out on a test account or a much larger account if you'd like to.
Thank you, Luke. This concludes today's OpsTalk. Stay tuned for the next episode, and don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel.